So all the Vikings questions entering the offseason have, frankly, been answered. Donatell, gone. Dalvin Cook, gone. Thielen, gone. Kendricks, gone. Patrick Peterson, gone. Zadarius Smith, he gone. All that stuff. But the only one that remains is what's going to happen with Danielle Hunter, as he and the Vikings are still at a crossroads, still at a standoff, although Doogie did report that talks would ramp up last week. Nothing has really come out of it. But the main question is, as Vikings veterans are due to report today, will Danielle Hunter be at TCO Performance Center Bar and Grill, or are we taking this thing to the mat? Will it be a holdout, and will Danielle Hunter truly be a man apart from the team? Yeah. That was actually a good movie, by the way. Anyways, but the issue at hand is, of course, Danielle's contract, this 5-year, $72 million contract he signed back in the day. Now, the Spielman regime and the Kwesi regime over the last couple of off seasons have done their best to patchwork this deal. And Danielle Hunter, proven that the neck is healthy, knocking on all the wood, and he's still one of the best all-around edge rushers in the game. He's selfless with his play on the field. He can still get after the quarterback's ass. And this doesn't get talked about a bunch. Like, he primarily rushes from the left side of the defense, the right side of the offense. Most quarterbacks are right-handed. So he's generating all this pressure and sacks when the quarterback can see him. It's kind of impressive, man. But he's due only $5.4 million in total compensation this year, which is, of course, far below market value for edge rushers. And a number of edge rushers have gotten paid recently, and that certainly could warp Danielle's and his agents' thoughts on things. So Alex Hightower of the Steelers got paid, and most recently on Monday, Seattle Seahawks edge rusher Nwasu got paid, where, I mean, he got a mini bag. So Uchenna Nwasu of the Seahawks signed a 3-year extension worth up to $59 million with $32 million guaranteed. It's pretty good, man. Of course, the deal was done by Rosenhaus and Company, so pretty impressive there. But again, just looking at last year's stats, Danielle, 76 pressures, 10.5 sacks, and Nwasu, 62 pressures, 9.5 sacks. So, I mean, that should be the jumping off point. Like, if you're Danielle and his agent, and Nwasu is a year younger but still relatively comparable, that's what you're looking at right now, man. You are. And Danielle, well, like we've said multiple times, so he's had 4 double-digit sack seasons in his career, including back-to-back 14.5 sacks, 2018-2019, missed all of 2020 with a herniated disc in his neck, and proved that he's healthy and good to go. By the way, it doesn't get talked about enough, his 2021 season before he had tore that pec. And no, I don't think that the pec has anything to do with the neck, his back, his whatever. But 6 sacks in 7 games? I mean, that is a torrid pace, man. It's fantastic. But 10.5 sacks last year, leading the team, as well as second on the team in pressures with 76, all while learning a new defense, a new scheme, playing a lot of stand-up outside linebacker for the first time in his NFL career. And also, more importantly, he stayed healthy all 18 games, no muss, no fuss, no issue. And for edge rushers, with Nwasu getting paid, clocking it at an average of $19.67 million per year, I think that's what we're looking at right now. Whether it's a 1-year Band-Aid or a multi-year extension, I think we are looking at the $19-20 million range, because, I mean, Von Miller at his stage of his career, I would take Danielle. Bradley Chubb at the respective stages of their career, I would take Danielle. And, Crosby, okay, I'd take Max Crosby. Khalil Mack, Khalil Mack's always been overpaid, but again, whatever. But I don't think that Danielle is necessarily trying to squeeze blood from a stone in this spot, but, I mean, just looking at some of these names, even though, yes, they're all solid players, but, I mean, the fact that they're getting 3, sometimes 4 times more in compensation this year over Danielle Hunter, that's ridiculous. And, yes, who's to blame for Danielle signing this long-ass stupid contract? Yes, Danielle signed it, but also, at a certain point, you do have to take care of your players and take care of your guys. Danielle is 28, going to be 29 in October. He's still in the thick THICC of his prime. Still has many good years in purple if Kwesi wants to do that. And just take care of him. Like whether it's just a Band-Aid deal for this season or, multi, 2-3 year deal, just get it done. And I think it is important to note. So the Vikings, So they waived Malik Knowles. They signed a tight end and 2 offensive linemen. They didn't add any edge rushers, which is kind of important because Andre Carter II is starting on the PUP. Now, TBD how long he's going to be on there, but they would already be thin at the edge rusher position. And if they're actually planning for life after Danielle, you think that they would want to bring in a guy like Unique the Freak Ngakoue or some veteran that can generate their own pass rush, but they didn't. They didn't do that. So, the edge rusher depth chart without Danielle looks pretty bare, but with Danielle in the fold, it's kind of a big deal. And also, let's not exclude fines. Fines are major. So, as evidenced by Chiefs defensive tackle Chris Jones, racking up and stacking up 50K of fines per day, which are unwaivable. But before there was training camp holdouts, teams just, all the fines, take care of it. But now, the league is enforcing it. So, don't get me wrong. $5.4 million is a lot, but if Danielle misses 10 practices in training camp practice, that's $500,000. That's 10% or 9% of his take-home pay this year. So this is going to sting a little bit more than it would be Chris Jones, who's making $20+ million per season even this year. But Danielle already has $50K in fines from the 2 days of mandatory minicamp, and if he takes this thing to the mat, it's going to cost him. It's a little bit different than in previous years, man. But I still think that Danielle Hunter is one of the best edge rushers in the game. I think that he is great rushing the passer, stopping the run, being a team-first guy, and he's position flexible at this point. But I think Brian Flores is just salivating at the idea of having him in his defense. I think 99 will be a problem on the field as opposed to in contract negotiations. But I am pretty confident. I do think that Kwesi and company understand that you need a talisman, you need an absolute alpha edge rusher to be relevant on defense, and it would be stupid at this point. They didn't really make any contingency plans. Davenport replaces Za'Darius, but they didn't really get anyone to replace Danielle. So get it done and get him in camp, and let's get this thing going and put this thing behind us at least for 1 year. But your thoughts are thoughts. Will Danielle Hunter show up today as Vikings veterans report for Vikings Training Camp? Let us know your thoughts and our thoughts in the comment section below. Subscribe for daily Vikings takes. Want to support the work? Put a little something in the Venmo. But till next time, Skol, production value.